Please, no code names. Call me Jean.
What is up, you guys? This is All Day Any Day 1 on the PS4, and I'm going to be giving you a build breakdown update for Jean Grey. So let's go ahead and take a look at her skills and her traits. So she automatically gains 15% crit hit damage, and she also gains energy and intelligence as her two main attributes. And on the right box, she gets Phoenix Reborn. You are able to see enemies on the minimap. Health gained, you get 210 health per second. This effect is tripled for 4 seconds when you fall below 35% of your max health once every 10 seconds. And then you gain defense and deflect rating of 20%. Defense and deflect are also gained of 600 for its base. For some reason it doesn't tell you your resources, but you technically have two different resources. You have one for your Phoenix Force, and then you have one for your abilities. So they don't have that labeled on here for some reason. But anyways, so let's go ahead and take a look at the abilities. I have Phoenix Charge on L2 Circle as my dash. Tactical Destruction on Square. Pyrokinetic Barrier on Circle. Psychokinetic Implosion on X. Crushing Telekinesis, your signature, on L2X. Debris Storm on L2 Square. And then Dark Phoenix on L2 Triangle. And the last one is Telepathic Illusion on Triangle. So this build is pretty much like a CC build, a crowd control build. You're also going to be focused on trying to build up health on hit. So you want to keep yourself healed at all times. So let's go ahead and take a look at her talents. I went with Unleash the Phoenix, enter Phoenix form, changing the keywords of some powers and sometimes altering their effects. Psychic Lethargy transforms into Mind Crush. Expel Phoenix Force transforms into Dark Phoenix. Damage reduction is 4%. You gain 350 health on hit, and firepower damage is increased by 10%. The next one is Friends of the First Class. Apply Strengthen to allies while you are in combat. Telepathic Illusion gains illusions that deal damage to nearby enemies and appears as members of the first class. And then the Strengthen buff effect gives you 10%, gives you and your party 10% damage and 10% crit hit multiplier. So this is good for a team buff build. Next one is Heart of the Team. Heart of the Team gives you Phoenix Force regeneration rate is increased by 25%. Dark Phoenix applies rapid healing to all allies. Dark Phoenix rapid healing is the buff effect for that, gives you and your team 20% max health per second for 3 seconds, so 60% health back. Environmental Hazard. Psi Shield transforms into Tactical Destruction. Tactical Destruction gives you telekinetically levitates in and hurls an abandoned vehicle at enemies. Controlled Engagement. Psychokinetic Barrier gains the following effects. Crit hit chance is increased by 100% and cooldown is 5 seconds less. And then you also generate 12.5 Phoenix Force per second. And then for my synergies, I'm using Beast, Blade, Cyclops, Gambit, Ghost Rider, Hawkeye, Magic, Scarlet Witch, Squirrel Girl, and War Machine. And then for my infinity points, I put, for some reason, I was just testing it out, just the Mind Gem infusion, but what I'm going to actually do is put points into intelligence, and then the rest of my points into deep thought, because the more spirit you have, the better. That way you don't have to keep on trying to sustain your spirit as much. But yeah, so I went with intelligence and then deep thought. So if you don't have 25 points, then you can just go into deep thought, or you can go into mental focus, or you can go into strike through for more brutal damage, or you can build up your health on hit with this, with your infinity points,
Papers at the mansion.
or you can go with health regeneration or healing received. And then you can also go with micro warps for more defensive or more health. or you can go with temporal loophole if you're trying to get more attack speed and the movement speed. So let's go ahead and look at the inventory, my gear. So my gear, I'm trying to get a good mix of health on hit as well as crit hit and brutal strike with crit damage or brutal damage. But one of the most important things you want to have on your gear is the perk that gives you, says, I don't think I have it on here anymore, unfortunately. So it'll say here, actually let me check my storage. I'm pretty sure I have it in my storage. Alright, so it says restore 30 spirit when you defeat an enemy. That's the one you want to have. You can have it, I'm pretty sure you can get it on any of your gear. So, but you only really need 1 or 2 pieces of gear with that on, because that'll help you sustain your spirit cost by so much. So pretty sure, let me check. I know I have it here somewhere. Right here, here's one. And I have another somewhere. Probably not. Alright, so I only have it on my weapon and my accessory. Or utility. Alright, anyways. So yeah, you want to get a piece of gear that can give you your spirit back when you defeat an enemy, because this build is going to be based around trying to taking out trash mobs and whatnot. So anytime you kill an enemy, you get your spirit back, and the more spirit you have, the more spirit you can get back, the more you can spam your abilities, because the ability that you're going to be using the most is psychonetic implosion, and that uses 17.1 spirit. So it pulls enemies to you, but it also does nice burst damage as well. And then for my ring, I'm using this one with +2 intelligence and crit damage. It would be nice if it had +4 intelligence, but still fine. I'm using the 9 heads. You can get this from Shield Supply Box. Cyclops was right t-shirt. You can get this from Magneto. This one's really nice too because it says recover 4 spirit when you hit. So anytime you hit an enemy, you can recover spirit, and it gives you boss damage and force power damage. And then I'm using the Hand of Doom because it gives me intelligence and energy, brutal strike and crit hit, and you have a 3% chance to electrocute enemies for 5,910 energy damage when you hit. Then I'm using Relic of Gibberim, or Complete Relic of Gibberim, because it gives me 200 extra spirit. And then my Catalyst, it's not too bad. It doesn't have what I want. I need the one that gives me 25% max health up to 3,000 and 100 spirit back recovery for whenever you use a med kit. That with the cosmic affix and the purple affix, 50% chance when you hit to gain 10 spirit. That's really nice right there as well. And then I'm using the Pyro Medallion. Your ranged attacks ignite enemies on fire for 9582 physical damage over 3 seconds, and they take 10% extra damage from fire powers and 1100 boss damage. But this is really good because she uses all range damage anyways, so it'll especially be good for her psychonetic implosion or pyrokinetic implosion, because that's a ranged attack and that's a burst damage, but with this it's going to apply damage over time for 3 seconds, so that's going to be really useful. And then Mandalay Gem is what I'm going with, because you get 1200 increased fire damage, 1500 increased crit hit when you use fire powers, and all of your abilities are going to be fire. 10% attack speed, so it's not bad. That means you can spam your psychonetic implosion a little faster. And regenerate 150 health on hit with a firepower is going to be especially good for her. And then rank 5% on any hit to cause a wave of 10,000 energy damage to enemies surrounding your target. So basically this just adds on to more of your AoE. And then for my stats, I'm not looking at like great stats right now. I'm at 31.5k average effective health, 33% damage reduction, so that's fine. 12.9% attack speed, 2468 crit hit, 7685 crit damage, 2954 brutal strike, and 45 Yeah, 2954 brutal strike and 4507 brutal damage and 168% base damage. But for the crit hit, it technically increases by 1500. So you would be looking at what, 4,000 crit hit, about 4,000 crit hit when it comes to fire powers, and that's all of her powers. So she's gonna be critting a lot, and then more brutals too, because her brutal damage is, or brutal strike is at almost 8,000. So I'm gonna show you what all of these abilities do. So this is X, the pyrokinetic implosion. You can just keep holding it if you'd like. As you can see, applies damage over time. It only applies damage over time to one enemy, not multiple enemies. But if you keep holding it, you know, you'll apply damage over time to pretty much everyone around you that doesn't have it. Next thing is the tactical destruction, so square. Auto brutes, and it does nice burst damage and AoE damage. So what, and then the next thing is going to be triangle. It taunts enemies and it's going to deal damage over time. Next one is circle, pyrokinetic barrier. It pushes enemies away and it puts a barrier on yourself. Next one is going to be your signature. It's not too bad. And the next one is L2 square. And the next one is your Phoenix Force, which is L2 triangle. But the way you get your Phoenix Force is, you see the white bar above the blue, my resource bar, the blue bar, and under my name. That white bar is what's going to let you trigger your Phoenix Force, and the Phoenix Force does damage over time, and it's going to also heal you while you hit enemies. So the way I go about with my build, my rotations, is I normally go in and pop my pyrokinetic shield and then pull all the enemies back in, because the pyrokinetic shield's going to push the enemies away. So you're going to use this to pull enemies in, and then throw this down for that auto brute, and then drop that taunt, and then if you want, you can go ahead and use that again. And then once you see that white bar full, this is what I normally do. I use my signature, then I go about with using L2 triangle, then L2 square. If you use L2 square first, it's gonna leave you in a channeling animation to where you can't use any other abilities for like 3-4 seconds. So make sure you use your signature first, and then, or your Phoenix Force first. You can use signature or Phoenix Force first, either or, because they don't cancel animations. They don't have a long animation, but you would use those first and then use L2 square, so that way you can have that animation going off. But yeah, that's basically it. So I go circle, X, and then either triangle or square and triangle, and then drop that, and then I use L2 square whenever I can, because the cooldowns aren't too bad.
I can't do that.
And then just keep going at it with this. Square, boom, boom. Just keep spamming everything, basically. And that's basically it with Jean Grey's Phoenix Force build, or Phoenix Force, basically CC heal build, I suppose. Yeah, so if you have any questions, suggestions, or anything, let me know down in the comment section, or you can message me on Twitter at alldayanyday1. If this video helps you at all, go ahead and leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to see any future videos, then go ahead and like, comment, or subscribe. If you have any questions, like I said, you can also check out my informational guide videos on my playlist. If you look at my channel, this should be one of the first playlists that pops up. That'll definitely answer, there's a lot of answers there that you might have questions of, so you can take a look at those. And yeah, so that's basically it. So like I said, if you liked or anything, go ahead and leave, if you like the video or if it helps you at all, go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe. This is All Day and Day 1 on the PS4. Have a good day, good night, and peace.
Please, no code names. Call me Jean.